woods are dark, and the woods lie deep, and the woods are home to summers don't sleep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Easy Allies Atomfall preview.
Yeah, Huber was in London.
Yes,
They say they want to send somebody to London, and I got to ask Huber.
It's my favorite place in the whole world. I know a lot of Londoners disagree. I feel like wherever your home is, you're always going to be resistant and push back.
Sure.
Because I'm always, I'm like, yo, England, London is my favorite place. And every time, they're like, why? Because I love it. But yeah, I got to play Atomfall. Full disclosure, only got to play this for 90 minutes.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that was one of the things. Like, okay, if that's all you want to do, we're flying all the way out there, but okay.
When it was over, every one of us was like, yo, we could have played that for 3 hours. We probably should have.
Yeah.
Because
I played for about 30 minutes or so around Gamescom when they had a preview then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Atomfall is from Rebellion, who
Sniper Elite.
Sniper
right?
Elite is like the most recent, but prolific studio. They've done a ton over the many years. But the game is set in an alternate 1957 like English area.
Yeah, Northern England, right?
Northern England,
Yep.
and there's like radioactive fallout a lot of places, like. I got to a place where you can see this power plant across the water, and it looks all crazy. There's like radiation coming off it. So
Yeah, because there's like a nuclear disaster that was like narrowly avoided, right? And this is
Yes.
like, what if it actually happened, right?
Yes. So they just dropped us right into the game. And I think first and foremost, obviously the first thing I noticed was the visuals looked amazing. We were playing on PC version.
Right.
Visually, it looked really excellent. I was like, whoa, like this looks really good. But they dropped us in this first area, and it's a bunch of interconnected zones. So pretty large areas. And then you would go to like a new one, and it'd be a big map. So a bunch of big interconnected maps.
Yeah, it definitely felt like the part I played, it was like, okay, there's a kind of a road up here, and then we kind of go around the corner and down the hill kind of thing into a camp, and yeah.
The best part about this demo with everyone was everybody went a different way.
Nice.
Everyone had a different experience and was getting caught up in these stories. We were all just sharing when it was over. It was really fun. But for my playthrough, I got dropped in. I was in the countryside area, and there were some bandits, and I had a big like cricket bat, so I started bashing people. So melee combat's there. There are two main things you need to watch out for, and that is health and stamina, or heart rate, actually. Really cool. So when you move and jump and mantle and hit, your heart rate will go up. And if their heart rate gets too high, your character will start kind of freaking out a little bit. He's winded. He can't swing as hard or fast.
So it's a real couch potato.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So you need to manage that. You can't just like spam sprinting and melee attacks, because melee is your primary way to deal with enemies in this game.
Yeah.
And talking, obviously, I'll get to that.
Yeah, I remember when I would take some guys out, and it's like, cool, I got a shotgun. It's like, oh, I have nothing.
You have like two shells.
Yeah, there's like one shell
Exactly.
left in this because he already shot at me.
Yeah. So yeah, guns are pretty rare, and there's a little bit of survival stuff to it. There's like 3 rarities of the guns, three conditions, if you will. They're like, broken, or I think the top one was pristine quality. Those are super hard to find. It said you need crafting materials. It's like really hard to find a really nice gun in the game. So again, melee is your primary form of attack. I did get the chance to use a shotgun and a revolver pistol. They seemed pretty good. I had the lower tier weapons, so I couldn't get a full-on feel of like how all that felt, but I thought the melee felt a little better than the shooting. But again, I had terrible weapons, and I was low level, so who knows how that evolves. But the melee just felt a little more responsive, a little more punchy compared to the shooting.
And it does feel like in some ways, like, they're, at least at this stage in the game, like they're telling you to avoid combat, right?
Avoid it,
like,
yes.
if you take a guy out, then you just spawn a hornet's nest.
Yeah. There are hornets, actually. Yeah, yeah. There's rats, like poisonous rats, and you get like a Duke Nukem Mighty Boot.
Oh.
The rats will come at you, and you're just kicking these rats.
Wow.
And they explode like in blood and guts. It's really awesome.
Okay.
Also, another really cool mechanic was the flashlight. You can get around without it, but when you use it to shine it on things, items that you can interact with will glint. So I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like, you know, you go into a big basement, you shine the light, and it's like, okay, you can like pick up these items, interact with them. I thought that was really nice. So yeah, everybody's playthrough was different. I talked to everyone. They were like, yo, I went to some bunker. I was doing this, entering codes, blah, blah, blah. I found a crashed helicopter, and there was like a document. And it was like, yo, I headed for the nearest town or whatever. So then you get these things called leads, which are basically your objectives.
Okay, yeah.
And that's how you progress in the game. These come kind of as you find them, immersive sim style. You know, you'll talk to someone, you'll find something, and you'll have a new lead. So my new lead was to like find this person in the nearby town. So like my whole 90 minutes basically was just like in this town.
Did you get any sense of like a main objective, or were you just like, I'm just going to follow whatever this thing is leading me on right now?
A little bit. My character like was having a hard time remembering things, like amnesia a little bit, and trying to get out of this.
Yeah. Did you have any phones ring on you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some phones. There's a lot of whispering, ominous whispering, telling you not to trust anyone. Because then when I got to this town, it was like Fallout style where like, you know, big robots kind of have everybody on lockdown.
Okay.
I was kind of free to come and go as I pleased. And I was like, why am I allowed to come and go as I pleased? Didn't really understand that. But yeah, you get to this town and it was just really cozy. You can go into the pub and talk to people. You can go into the shops. There's an economy. Obviously, 90 minutes. Didn't get to see how good the economy is. But yeah, so I was looking for this woman. And then I just started getting, oh my God. Okay, this game is so awesome. The stories in this game is the highlight. I was so invested just getting dropped into a random point in this game and having such a limited time with it. I was very invested. So I saw this church in the town. I'm like, oh, check out the church, whatever. Usually there's some cool video game stuff in churches. So I go in the church and there's a body with a knife just like hunched over, and the priest and the priest's buddy are there and they're like, yeah, they murdered her. We got to find the murderer.
Wow.
So then, you know, that led me to like, okay, now I guess I'm Geralt, like full on murder investigation blood. So I'm like tracking down clues. I go into this cellar. One thing leads to another, and it's, you know, a lot of dialogue options. Dialogue options are huge in this game. You can not kill anybody, or you can kill everyone in this whole game. They encourage replayability. They said it's about 20 hours long.
Okay.
20 plus. And there are a lot of choices in the game that will lock you out of other parts of the game. Like, who are you going to side with type thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and again, you can like full on kill people in the story if you want to. So a lot of freedom of choice for sure. But yeah, that side quest I did, you know, I was trying to find the murderer or whatever, and it was really well done because I didn't know what I wanted to do fully. It was like, who do I side with here? You know, the shopkeeper who says that the priest guy was like blackmailing everyone, but then the shopkeeper was kind of unhinged because he was like, yeah, I'll murder anyone who, you know, tries to blackmail me, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, that's kind of intense. Who do I side with? I sided with, because it was the demo, I sided with him and then I killed him. So I got like multiple, yeah. He like gave me all his stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like kill him and see what happens. And then I like didn't have time to go back to the priest to like see how that all unfolded. Yeah. There are skills in the game. You find little books
Okay.
that can unlock things, and then there's skill points too. When I think you like finish some quests and you would get them or discover things, you would unlock some skill points, and that would be like, you know, more health or more durable to melee attacks, little things like that.
I may have been slightly influenced by the costumes and slightly influenced by Thank Goodness You're Here. But did you find that there is some sort of like comedic or absurd level of these characters, or am I just like misreading that? Like,
It's pretty...
because it seems like there's some stuff that feels like a little bit over the top.
Yeah. I walked by some two old guys outside of the pub, and they were having a comedic conversation. I forget the context of it, but I remember chuckling.
Okay.
Completely optional. You don't even interact with them. They're just there talking. So yeah, some comedic stuff for sure, but also pretty heavy. They reference like World War II and stuff, and you know, really intense. They're like, because they have it so bad, they're like, wow, I wonder what would have happened if World War II went differently and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, pretty heavy themes, I'd say, but also the visuals are really light, and yeah, some levity as well with some of the NPCs here and there. So yeah, I was really impressed with the stories and just kind of the freedom to kind of pursue what I wanted to. And yeah, just the writing and the voice acting and everything. It just felt really immersive, Blood. Like I was very hooked very quickly and very invested.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on the shooting combat, the
Okay.
firearms, but the melee felt really good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'd think that the firearms would be good considering the sniper guys have a long time to work on that stuff.
Exactly.
But it may be one of those things where it's like there's a level of like authenticity and brokenness
Yeah.
to the weapons where it's like, yeah, this is not your like get out of jail free card. Like you shoot a gun and you've just alerted a lot more people
Yeah.
to your presence.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things like I like, cause like I felt like I, you know, was into it like you are. But it was a game where it's like, oh yeah, you go down fast.
Totally. You gotta
kind of like take your time and think about what your approach is going to be and what you're going to do, because you think you're going to take this guy out and there's some other guy right around the corner that you didn't see.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's stealth as well. Sneak attacks. You have to like unlock the skill to do it. Actually, I thought that was interesting.
Nice.
I got it pretty early on. But there's like freakos. There's some monsters in this game as well.
Yeah, they say unexplained horrors in the press releases I'm looking at.
So that was actually, I died a couple times in a row. At the very, very end of the demo, I was like trying to sprint to this other place that I really wanted to see really fast. And there was like the long way around or straight through the tunnel.
Right.
And it was way faster to go through the tunnel. But every time I went through the tunnel, 3 of these freakers came out, were like spitting acid on me.
Ooh.
They took a lot of hits, and then they would take me out really fast. So yeah, it escalated quickly, some of the combat, for sure, with those monsters. Yeah. And then the giant robots were so awesome.
Giant robots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, really eager to see how all of the choices and consequences play off in the long run. Eager to see how the firearm combat escalates as you get better gear.
Right.
And other than that, like, yeah, those are my 2 questions, but I'm very intrigued and I'm very invested in Atomfall. And especially the length, too, 20 plus hours.
And and from what you're saying, from the people that you meet up with and stuff, it's like, you know, you're trying to figure out the mysteries behind what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
But, like, who you talk to and what it's about is going to vary based on these quests.
Thank goodness I remembered, building off that Blood, not only depending on who you talk to, when you talk to them.
Oh, yeah?
Because of my quest with the shopkeeper and the priest, right? I have no information at this point. I don't know what's going on in this town. If I do other leads first, find other clues, and then did the quest, I might have had a better understanding. And they said that. I might have had a better understanding of who to side with and other characters' motivations. So who you work with and when you work with them, I thought was super interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
So Atomfall, definitely one to watch.
Yeah, it's not far away now.
Imminent.
March 27th, so just a couple weeks away. And that's Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS5, PS4. and PC, including Steam. So
Yes.
yeah, that's gonna be out there.
Hell yeah.
So keep an eye out for it. Thank you for checking out this preview. We got a lot of good freaking previews going up lately.
Yeah.
So check those out. We got Absolum, we got Clair Obscur, a lot of good games on the way. And we are Easy Allies. Everything that we do is because of support from viewers just like you. So please go over to patreon.com/easyallies and chip in a couple of bucks to keep this thing rolling. Thank you.
So sit thee down and hear me tell of the woods that stand on Casterfell.